Good evening. We'll call to order the meeting for the July Board of Zoning. We are picking up with a continued meeting to start, and then we will have to close it and start our regular July meeting. So roll call.
Dan Dale, Patty Lingle,
Here.
Amanda Lyons,
Here.
Mark Mylum, Joe Vogel.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, so first on our agenda for that continued meeting was a variance request by Kenneth and Chastity Combs in Pleasant Township. And since that meeting was continued from June, that request has been withdrawn. So is there any other business that we did not get to at that meeting that we need to wrap up?
I know.
Okay,
Just the complaints I fill out.
okay,
I was in the middle of speaking when we reached it, and so I would like to continue. I have some additional information that's come to light. That's
Okay.
for that meeting.
Oh. Well.
If I leave you one copy, can I get the rest of these back?
Probably, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Give Mark, okay. So is this just mine?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Okay, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on this, especially on the first document, but I do want to explain what it is. It is a list that was provided by Combs to his realtor when he listed the home. And it's actually a list of improvements that he sent to the realtor. It is a public document and it clearly defines everything that he did on that property that should have had a building permit, a variance, or a land improvement plan. And it's, after I run across this, I also found out that there is a Lake Protection Act, 10 feet from the shoreline. The stewards of the public trust is the planning commission. And he clearly did all this work with the information I provided last month. He clearly did all this work in violation of that state act. So I'm not going to spend any more time on that. But I believe that if you go to the next page, this one here, it's got the highlighting, it's a 6.2.4 lakefront setbacks. I believe that misinterpretation of the ordinance was presented at the last meeting. And I'm gonna read this. In the RL1 and RL2 district where a parcel adjoins both a lake or a lake channel and a road right of way, the lakeside shall be considered the front yard and the roadside may be considered as the rear yard. Maybe. In this case, the lakeside shall comply with the front yard setback as outlined in chapter 5 of the development standards. But in no case shall the rear yard extend less than 35 feet for a principal or accessory structure. Front yard setback will be measured from the structure to the high water level. When you go to this next page that Brian was referring to, and this is as clear as mud, I'm gonna defend Brian a little bit here. When it says setback, open, primary, and accessory structure on this drawing here. Okay, that's to protect the riparian rights of the lake owners, that every lake owner who has lakefront property is entitled to. And depending on which chart you look at, there's different lines. But what I would like to point out to you is on the next page, which is the bottom of the original graph. It looks like this. It clearly says above data in orange indicates unlikely scenarios, which is still listed. And again, it shows it open to the water from the primary structure to the water to protect the lake residents' riparian rights. And I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that word right. But in the upper right-hand corner, and this is from right out of section 5, which it refers to in the ordinance, residential Lake District 2, lakefront multifamily residence, public sewer, 7,200 square foot lot. It says 35-foot setback from the residence spec depth area. And it says front setback 35 feet, rear setback 35 feet, remainder is 50 feet. But I refer back to the statement above data in orange indicates an unlikely scenario because it clearly says that it's open to the water. There's not supposed to be anything there. Now, if the BZA wanted to grant a variance, it would have to be 35 feet from the lake and 10 feet from each side, the high water line of the lake, and 10 feet from either side. So the person still got, according to this chart, they still got 50 square feet. If they want to put a gazebo, patio, whatever. But the riparian rights protect our view. Okay, and with the information that was presented, it is my understanding that that's why the pergola has been removed. But Mr. Combs also went to the drainage board, and the same information that was presented at last month's meeting was presented at the drainage board. Because they gave him the okay to put in a gazebo as long as he's 10 foot from the property line, and that needs, it's supposed to be open, there's not supposed to be. And I talked to Mark and, the language, it's clear as mud, but this is the interpretation.
And I'd say right below that too, in the chart right below it, it says it again. Open to the water and residential and accessory open to front.
Right. Means that it's supposed to be open view for the riparian acts. And this is exactly why Mike Howard told me I couldn't build a 54-foot deep barn, is because the front of the barn could not be in front of the house because we'd have been in that clear space. That's why my barn sets back behind the front of my house. And when you start to apply common sense, the other side of the house, the other side of the street, it says nothing forward of the rear lot line, no alternative structures. And the BZA even ordered the lady across the street to remove all the structures except for one that they granted her a variance. So why would we allow structures between the home and the lake? And if you go to, hang on, I gave you one more piece of paper. This one, riparian rights. Yeah, it's in there. It's a loose sheet. It says access to water, and these are the riparian rights in Indiana. Access to the water for recreation, fishing, boating, a reasonable unobstructed view of the water, use of the shoreline and bottom lines in front of your property subject to DNR rules, and the right to build or maintain piers or shore structures with proper permits, which were not pulled. These rights are governed by case law in Indiana Code 1426-2, the Lake Preservation Act. Blocking how your neighbor may be violating riparian rights, blocking or impairing the view. So if you wanted to grant the variance and you made him, and you let him put his gazebo in and it's 10 feet from either lot line, and you exercise, which is your right, 35 feet back from the high water line, he still gets to have his gazebo, but he's not blocking the clean tax riparian rights or ours.
Well, and Dave, I gotta say, is this your property?
I can't tell from that picture, I'm sorry.
And it's very obvious that the front of your garage is way forward of the front of your house. By probably 6 or 8 feet. And Mike Howard granted you this variance.
No, that's
Yeah.
not, the front of the front of the house is,
Right here.
yeah, it's closer to the lake. I don't know what line you're looking at, the front of the house.
This is Google Earth, the most current image from Google Earth.
I gotta get closer to it, I can't see it.
Keep doing that. Trying to get it to go from there.
Yes, this one.
Well, just keeps.
Well, you're welcome to come out and take measurements, the barn is set back from the house.
Yeah.
Okay, look at this one, Dave, look at that one down there, I think that's clear for you. Okay, tell us again what you're pointing to.
Well, I mean, he referred to his house not being forward of the front of the barn. Here's the front of his house and here's the front of the barn.
That's not
Closer
my
to.
property.
He's
Well,
right
here's
beside
the
the
lake,
park.
here's the beach.
Okay,
That would be him.
That's not yours? Right next to the beach?
yeah. but
Yeah. So you're about 5 or 6 feet closer to.
No, I'm not. You can come out and measure it.
Oh, okay.
And what does that have to do with the ordinance anyways?
Well, you just said that you couldn't put anything forward to the front of the house.
That was under the old ordinance,
No,
yes. Cause you're telling me that in front of the house, there's no ordinances. And that's what you, in the last meeting, I don't.
this is a residential deal. I'm pretty sure that was the same.
LR2, and you can measure from the center line of the street and the house is not closer. The barn is not closer.
To the,
When I walk off
To
of
the
my
lake?
sidewalk in front of my house to go to the barn, I have to turn right and go up 6 or 8 feet and go up 2 steps to get into the barn.
okay, I'm just looking at the front of your house here closer to the lake and it sure looks like your barn is closer to the lake.
Well,
And it was
again,
allowed,
that's the angle of the satellite, but I can assure you it's not.
okay,
So, like I said, the point is here. The riparian rights. And the way Mike wrote this is as clear as mud. But it's supposed to be open in front of the houses to the water.
But you got 50 square feet that you can put a fire pit or a picnic table.
And I don't think a fire pit,
Okay,
you know, something that's flat with the ground, I'm not sure that would even. Be.
no, but again, so where's the 35 feet, I guess,
It's on this chart right here.
that's the one
The high
spot
water
it
line.
says, but everywhere else it says open, and then there it says 35.
Well, like I said, here's the whole chart. There's setbacks on every one of these. It's right on the bottom of that drawing that you were looking at. Flip your page right there. Go one more page.
oh, on the last page,
Minimum
Very
front
last
yard
page,
setback,
the big-
primary, minimum front yard setback, primary and accessory structures open.
Yeah.
It's
Open view. And
It doesn't say open view, it doesn't say open view anywhere in here.
Yes, it does.
No, these are setback requirements.
No, it's not a setback. It says open setback. That means that there's not supposed to be nothing there. Why did he put this chart in there? This is right off your website.
Okay,
Yeah, I get how you got your interpretation. What I'm doing is contesting that.
well, if you want to contest it, it needs to be contested to the planning commission. This is the wrong place to contest it.
And that's all well and good, except this information that is in dispute was given to the drainage board.
We're not the drainage board. This is not the drainage.
Okay, but it was given to the drainage board and they made a decision based on that information. And now the gentleman that wanted the variance is preparing to put in a gazebo. And I don't want to see the county get sued for giving him permission to do something and then having to take it away.
were you at the drainage board meeting?
Huh?
Were
No,
you at the drainage board meeting?
I contacted the drainage board. As soon as the pergola went down, I knew something was up, so I contacted.
This request has been withdrawn.
Yes,
Have we issued any other permits at this
Yes.
point? Okay,
And the permit was,
To Mr. Combs?
yes, to Mr. Combs
Okay.
for a pergola. He's moving it over and putting another, just put his pergola in.
which will be right in front of the clean tax.
Again, we-
Again, you know, our rights are right here. They're right here.
I'm not
And
arguing.
that, I'm not arguing either, I'm just saying, these are our rights under Indiana law. And I feel like that this interpretation that was given to the drainage board and to Citizen Combs is in error. Cause why would it say setback from the high water line? If there's not a setback, why does it say measure from the high water line in 624?
Okay, but
Okay, tell me how you find that line,
What,
high water line.
it's actually described in the state
the
statutes,
GNR would be able to tell you. where that
Yeah.
is.
and they've already
Any
been out.
time of year, any time of year, they could go out there.
Yes, they did it with, they did it with GPS when they made him move the boulders, they come out and they established, all you need is a handheld GPS, you can go out there. And there's actually another way, you can look at the line of vegetation, where the water kills the vegetation. And how high up it's been over the last year, and that's,
Oh,
yes.
and that could change as more water would come in.
Not from the DNR.
I mean,
Not-
well, if you start having wet years.
if you start going by your vegetation line, you're gonna see
Yeah,
variance.
vegetation line.
No, actually, that's not true on this lake, because the DNR has an,
They have a dam.
drain pipe,
Uh-huh.
they set the lake level. And unless that pipe got blocked by something, then the lake level, you know, it's only gonna go up and down 18 inches from the bottom of the tile to the top, that would be your, so it would be the high, that's why they come out and did all the elevations with the survey. They went down and took a shot on the top of the tile, so that would be your high water mark, so all you'd have to do is get a surveyor, go out there and punch it in the ground and match it, and that's where you measure from. And again, if Brian's interpretation is correct, then why does it say in 6.24 to measure from the high water line for a setback, and why are the setbacks here? My contention is that the open setback meant there's not supposed to be, and that's why the comment even says above data in orange indicates unlikely scenarios, but is still listed.
Those are scenarios, it's not the actual ordinances, they're just for calculating impervious coverage and stuff like that, it's not
Right.
what the actual.
And what you're referencing is an orange.
Well, it
It's black.
it's black now, but
It's not, it's not orange. It's not an unlikely scenario. It's,
I made these copies,
I got you.
and I didn't have a
I
color
know,
cartridge.
but I mean, if you look in the ordinance, it's not part of what is considered an unlikely scenario.
Uh, 6.26.
Dave, can I interject for a second?
Sure.
Where do you get these riparian rights from?
From a friend of mine, it's a paralegal.
Okay. Nothing in Indiana has a right to an unobstructed view of water. Even the codes you sent me, that 1426-2, nothing in there says unobstructed view of the water. So I'm wondering if this was some sort of a search that thought we had it, but we don't. So, and
And again, I come back to if there's no setback. If he's saying it's open and there's no setback, why does the table say 35 feet, and why does it say measure from the high water mark?
And that is where I have a little bit more information than what maybe they have, because I've seen the drafts, so I went and looked at the drafts, and before it was approved. There was originally a 35-foot setback, and that got removed. And so I'm guessing it's in the table because it was an error in leaving it in. But if let's say we deny a permit, and we can grant a permit and you could take the BZA to court, we could deny a permit and Mr. Combs could take the BZA to court. So I have to kind of think, how is a judge going to interpret the word open in setting a setback? I don't think a judge is gonna say there has to be a 35-foot setback when it says open. I think the judge is gonna say there needed to be something in there because it's inconsistent. How do you interpret the word open? Open means wide open. There's no limit. So I think I think we would, and then you're right, clear as mud. We can make arguments and ultimately a judge would decide, but I think this is one thing that we need to address when we're going through the ordinance and making changes to, I honestly agree with you. I think there needs to be something in place. And I do think the
And I do
front
too.
house needs
I
to
said
be.
it. I said it when you brought in that variance or that request for a change. Believe me, I think there is too. I think this would clear up a lot of this stuff. And I think so too.
Okay, but that doesn't help me or my neighbors because somebody screwed up when they wrote this, so. If that's your decision, that's okay. Now I would like to, under old business, address why the patio, the foundation. And all that stuff is still there because I don't know who to go to. I went to the drainage board and I didn't print a bunch of pictures of this. But, well, let me go to two things here. First, number one, on July 26, 2024, I called Mr. Campbell and told him that this pergola and this patio was being constructed. He never showed up for 2 weeks, and I'm not throwing him under the bus, he's a busy man, okay? But I made an official complaint that day. To this day, other than the pergola, it has not been handled. I have a whole series of emails here over the last year. And one of the things that we've recently discovered is we decided to fill and try and match the grade next to, because like I said at the last meeting, he's raised the grade up so high with those boulders that it feels like we're in a hole and we're on our beach. Okay, he didn't pull an ILP permit from the county or the state, and he completely redid this backyard. So we decided that we wanted to fill it and match it and try and make it look better. Well, what we discovered is there's this much room between the boulders that are this tall and the property line. I can't legally put dirt on his property. So if I slope to my property line and stop there, now I just created, it's illegal under the state act and it's illegal under the drainage commission. I just created a ditch that's gonna let silt go right to the lake. Because he's up here and I'm here and you got this much room, so now there's a ditch that was never there. So how do I get these boulders removed? My contention is those boulders and all the stone behind those boulders was the foundation for the patio that Mr. Campbell pulled the permit on. And yet it's still there. And I have an email here from July 25th, 2024. He's got 6x6 posts set in the ground, 8 feet tall. 12x16 is bigger than 10x10 that he needs a permit for, which Brian did address that. And the variance for the side setback for this structure. So on day one, I made the complaint. And I said, so at that point, I said, so if our front is the lakeside per the ordinance, then no new structures forward of existing homes, except for ones here before the ordinance change. That's what I was told when I set my barn on the lakeside. And I sent another one to Mr. France and him with photos that I didn't print. Says you can clearly see that this is 3 feet off the side property line. That was on July 29th of the last year. So I'll pass these pictures around. I think they're a little better description of the grade than what I provided at the last meeting, which I apologize for. And in the one picture, I kind of sketched it there, what this is gonna look like if I fill on my property and I'm nowhere near the water. It's gonna create a ditch, a trip hazard, you can't mow it. So, as part of the emails that I sent to Brian and the email that he responded to me, it was gonna be removed.
Hey, Dave,
Yes, sir.
here's the blue house, blue gray house.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the one on the left of the picture is the other house.
This is brown brick. Ours is vinyl siding.
We're correct. So are the foundations on those two houses level?
No, theirs is about, I'm gonna say 12 inches taller. Again, that was another point of contention when they got their building permit. To do that, they never told the county about the walkout basement, and that's why they jacked it up.
Okay.
Originally, when we bought the to answer your question, I'll answer it this
My
way.
question is, if you've got a lake and, it's not level across the lake, now the water's level, but
I
not,
under-
how do you try and control people's yards that aren't level? And
Well,
that's
number
all-
one, the first thing you do, Joe, is you go to the DNR and you get a permit, and you go to the county and you get a land improvement permit before you completely redo the backyard and raise the grade 4 feet. When we bought the property, both foundations were level and both yards were level. And I have the photographs to prove it. I mean, I've brought them, here, there answers your question. Right here, take a look at that picture. Look at the difference. That's just, you're looking at the same thing. That's the way the yards were when we bought the property.
There's still a dip where the bales of straw fall. I mean, it's lower than the two sides.
That's because of 2 years of runoff going in the lake from the previous owners. I put the bales of
But
straw,
the highest point is up on the road.
up by the house,
So you're gonna have all that road water.
right?
And the road coming through your side yard, going to the lake.
Not through our side yard, because we put tiles in and our house, the water goes along the side of the road. Those bales you're looking at are what we had to put down to keep the water and the silt coming off of that property, because none of the normal building practices, silt fence, all that, it was all mud and fill, and it was running across our property. So, and I wanna get back to this, it
Go
says,
ahead.
this was September of 24. Since this is the first, I had sent Brian an email. Let me get these in the right order here. Yeah, I sent Brian an email and it was over the fence that he put up around the hot tubs. And he said, I've rescinded the permit for the patio until such time as he can prove the new patio is in the exact same place as the old one. If not, he will need to take out the new patio. I'm sure he's weighing his options. That was September 3rd of 2024. And it's still there.
The patio's not there.
Huh?
The patio's not there.
Yeah, it is.
No, he had concrete block, interlocking, blocking patio. The patio's not there. There's some stone there. That's all that
Brian?
is.
He put boulders in there. He put 2 foot of fill dirt. He put 2 foot of stone, and he put patio stones on top of it.
The patio stone.
Removing the patio stones is not removing the patio. We still have the issue.
Of what? Some rock on your property? Some
Yeah,
stones on your property?
yeah.
How
I mean,
can I
which
tell somebody
which
not to?
ordinance do which ordinance do you want to go by here? The block wall ordinance? Do you want to go by the fence ordinance? This was a patio. I feel like you're splitting hairs here, I mean, this picture right here. We didn't, those boulders were nowhere near the property line. They were 15 feet over there. He come in there and redid all this stuff and
Okay,
he damaged our property and our property values.
looking at all your pictures, I have a few questions,
Okay,
cause I've slept since we went through this last
Okay.
time. When he was here, I believe he shared with us that DNR had reviewed the boulder situation. They made him make some adjustments but they were okay with it. Was that correct?
Partially correct. At that point in time, the gentleman who was doing it was new to the area, Brian Menemeson and Kyle, okay? At that point, I was not aware of the violations that he was doing. My only complaint at that time, which was addressed, was the boulders that were actually in the water. But since I found the Lake Preservation Act, depending on what we could come to as a resolution here, I plan on making another complaint to the DNR because this is completely illegal.
Because that's what I was gonna say. If DNR gave their approval, I'm nobody to
Right.
trump DNR.
Well,
And so I feel like
right,
your time and efforts probably need to be directed to DNR on the boulders. Is that what?
yeah. The boulders in the lake is considered a seawall. He's in violation of that order because he raised it up higher than, you know, he's gonna cause water to go onto other people's property.
But if he's
The-
had them out there and they have told him what changes to make and he has done that, then I'm sure he feels like he's in
Right.
compliance with them.
Okay, but.
And so that would need,
He told, here's the reason that it all didn't get moved. He told the DNR that the previous property owner put them there. And they asked him to remove the ones that were on the water side. I have proof that that's not the case. You know, and I feel like I'm preaching to the choir here. All I really need from you folks is move these 5 boulders. It's an illegal fence. It's an illegal wall according to ordinance. You guys are the stewards of the land according to the Lake Preservation Act. Yeah, it says in there,
It doesn't.
clear down to the bottom.
I searched for plan commission and all I could see was it's enforceable by the department, which is DNR.
Right, but on down, it said the first 12 feet was, you guys were the public stewards of the first 12 feet this side of the water line. Irregardless, it's still a violation of the fence. It's not a cyclone fence. You can't, you know, it's like a block wall. I just want to move so that we can slope the yards back the way they were, make us whole. He can do what he wants to do over there and we'll do what we want, because what am I supposed to do with this ditch? If I fill, I'm creating a ditch. Now I'm in violation because of something he did. Well, where do I go? What do I do? I'm asking. Or you guys can say, like I have said all along, that these boulders, you know, he never could have put the patio there the way he built it if he hadn't have put the boulders there, because all the dirt and the stone would be on my property. Because the one that he built on the other side, that he didn't put the plastic that's impervious under, the stuff's already washing out and the thing's going like this. It's falling apart from the water. So,
Dave, for your question on the boulders, I mean, I was looking at the Lake Preservation Act, there's no reference to 12 feet in it. And
I'll have to find it for you.
yeah, show it
I
to
will.
me, the way I'm reading it, it looks like that 10-foot section you're talking about is still within the DNR's permitting review.
Okay.
So I don't think we can do anything, I think, I mean, it was right. Make that argument to the DNR, tell them, show them that you have proof that those boulders were not there originally, they may change their decision, I don't think. And the BZA can't do anything, because if the variance is withdrawn, there's no decision they can make.
Okay, so what about my patio? Are you guys going along with his interpretation that the patio was patio stones? That all this stone and these boulders was not part of the patio?
I got a question. I'm not arguing.
I know.
That's a planning commission thing, not BZA. Am I right?
I mean, at some point, the plan commission is the one that makes the rules and regulations that is part of this. That's why I said, I think this might be the wrong venue for this.
Yeah.
But then again, he's got a valid complaint if he wants to complain about that. My interpretation of it is, it's stone. We've never permitted stone for anything anywhere else. Nowhere in our ordinance does it say, you can't put some stone in. you put sand all the way down into the water on your beach. Where does it say that I would have to permit that? There's places everywhere along these lakes that people put stuff all the way
DNR
down.
said that all I had to do was put a cement curb in there, which I did,
Okay,
and.
but what does that have to do with
the?
the board of zoning? That's what I'm saying. So where
What
do
this has
we,
to do with is the patio. These are not stones. These are boulders with stone that was the sub. Let me try a different tack.
it was sub-base, it's not a
Imagine
patio.
this is.
You just said it was sub-base for a patio. It
Exactly.
is nothing but some crushed stone. There's crushed stone, we have never permitted driveways.
It's part of
or
a
anything else.
structure, Brian. It's
It's-
part of a structure. He
Okay,
had a pergola over it. He put
Pergola's gone.
But it's gone.
the patio's gone, the pergola's gone.
No, it's not. The patio's not gone.
Okay,
You put these boulders this big along the property line, not far enough away to run a lawnmower. He can't walk down through there with the sprayer.
well, what's he need to? It's not his property.
It is his property. Between the boulders and the property line
There's.
is what I'm
there's
talking
what,
about.
2 inches? So what?
No, this much,
Okay.
okay?
So
And
he
what
can
I'm saying
stand all
is,
those boulders if he wants to do what he needs to.
okay, well, what I'm trying to say is, that imagine these boulders, like this was a wooden structure. These boulders would be the floor joists. Okay, or the foundation. The boulders would be the cement block foundation. And the stone would be the joists. And the patio stones would be the carpet or the subflooring. And that's the way he built this
I
thing.
think we all understand where you're coming from, but as Mark and Amanda said, the DNR are gonna cover the big rocks. Brian said, we don't care if people put gravel in their yard.
Okay,
Yeah, how can we do that? As long as it's not impervious
Even
or
if,
taken
hold on,
in the
Brian.
impervious.
Even if these 3 board members agree with you, they can't do anything. They don't have the authority to order him to remove it. All they can do is decide should a variance be granted or not. If it's withdrawn, there's nothing to decide.
so I need to come to the planning commission.
Yes, just like you asked for how do we interpret, is this a structure or not? And they gave their interpretation, do that.
Okay,
That's what you should do.
okay. Can you put me on the agenda, Brian? For ordinance review, please? And one other, I wanna clarify one other thing here, as soon as I find it, and then I'll let you get on with the rest of you.
I wrote on mine.
Well, Dave, can that be the copy that we keep in here that?
It's just a couple question marks, but.
Here we go, I found it. And this is a moot point, but I just feel like I have to correct this. Because of something that was said in the last meeting in regards to Patty, right?
Mhm.
To your question, okay? This is from the minutes of the planning commission. Mr. Campbell gave an update of the status of the complaint. The DNR had ordered the boulders to be removed from the lake. Mr. Combs was able to do so without removing the pergola structure. The pergola is still in place and too close to the property line setback. So that decision has already been made. The pergola is still in place and too close to the property line setback. Mr. Campbell asked for the board's approval to send a letter requesting Mr. Combs to remove the structure. There are other issues on the property that have been received as complaints from neighbors, not just me. In regards to the rocks and the stones, Mr. Campbell is unsure if it's a violation of the zoning ordinance or what it would fall under, since it could be considered a property line fence. This is right out of the approved minutes. Mr. Milam asked for a definition of a structure and a fence. Mr. Campbell read the definitions directly from the Wabash County zoning ordinance. Mr. Vogel asked the height limits in the ordinance. Mr. Campbell explained the limits and requirements for front yard fencing in an RO zone. Okay, the boulders and the stone, if you want to call them a fence, are taller than a legal fence. And he's damaged our property because now when you're on the beach, it feels like you're sitting in a mud hole. Especially when it's rained in last. And this is the biggest thing. Mr. Hahn had said, I'm gonna read all of this, so it doesn't appear slighted. Mr. Hahn believes that everything other than the new pergola is a civil issue between the neighbors. That's his opinion. Discussion was had regarding what is a structure. So, and this is the reason I read this, because this has already been in front of the planning commission, other than the patio piece, you know. I think most people would say that this whole thing is a patio. It was constructed. I mean, you couldn't just go in there and lay patio stones on top of the ground. They'd be all, you had to build a structure under them. So, but Mr. Campbell will be sending a letter to the property owner regarding the pergola being too close to the property line. And this is the point that I'm making. And the structure needs to be moved or removed. You told me that letter didn't say that in the last meeting, and I took it right out of the minutes. So the letter was supposed to say moved or removed, and this is right out of the planning commission minutes. So
Did he move it
what,
or remove it?
what's that?
The pergola?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, we got a bigger mess now than we had before.
I mean, he removed it for that, and he instead asked for a variance. I granted him the variance request, and
Okay,
that's why he
so,
was here.
Again, you told me the patio was gonna be removed,
It
so.
did get removed.
No, it didn't. And we're gonna argue about that one from now till the cows come home, but we're gonna let the planning commission decide. So I would like to be on the agenda for an ordinance review. And I'll bring it in front of the planning commission, cause that, you said that. Yeah, all I'm going by is what you told me in the emails, and now it feels like. That doesn't pertain anymore for whatever reason, so.
Will that be the August planning commission?
Yeah, we haven't set up the agenda yet, have we? Okay,
So when is that meeting?
August
Seven.
7th.
Did I get all my papers done?
Yeah.
Oh, well, start with Wednesday. It's March.
And I thank you for your time. August when?
7. 7 o'clock.
Okay. Thank you very much. Sorry to all you folks for taking this, but this has been a year-long saga.
You say the property is listed.
Was listed.
Oh, it's not now.
The information that I have is between the dock being on the neighbor's property and this pergola and thing being under a letter from Brian. Those were encroachments that he would have to disclose in a legal document to sell the property, and he can't do that, or doesn't want to do that,
Okay,
so.
I just thought you came down and said it was listed.
He did list it, it was listed,
After, how long ago did he list it? Before he started doing this or afterwards?
after,
So just lately it's been listed.
no.
No.
No, he's had the property in
It was probably last fall.
January, he got it in January because. He moved into it for 6 months so that he could keep the former owners, veterans over 65. And homestead exemption. So it was in January, he moved into it, he moved out in July, and he hasn't.
Okay.
The house has been empty until a month ago, and he moved in a couple pieces of furniture. But like I said, it's
Okay,
just.
so it's not
Oh,
listed.
and one other thing, I'm trying to be fair, and I think I'm a pretty good neighbor to my other neighbors. This gentleman's never acted like a neighbor, and I just became recently, aware of the fact that it's R&L Rentals LLC doing business as Ken Combs. So this is not a case of a property owner saying, oh gee, I'm sorry, Brian, I forgot to pull a permit for this. You know, what do I gotta do? Get a variance? he knew what he was doing right from the start. So. I'm gonna let you go. Thank you.
Okay, do we have any other business from the June meeting to be addressed?
I do have a question. Where did you give him a permit to put this gazebo?
Per the setbacks?
Hmm?
I mean, what do you mean? Where did I give it to him in the office over there? Or what are you
No, no,
talking
no,
about?
where is it going?
Where he requested it to go per his, site plan.
How do I get a copy of the site plan?
I would have to go get it in the office. We're in the middle of a meeting right
Okay,
now.
that's fine.
Okay.
I'll wait.
Okay. Can we get done with this meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah, so do we need
Motion
to
close?
adjourn?
Well, I still need the complaints.
Oh, you do have something else,
Yep.
okay,
Well, yeah, because it's a separate item. Other than.
Okay.
June, 50 total unresolved, 50 rolled over. Complaints, 25 new in 2025, 34 active complaints, 2 unsafe premise, no court action so far on those. 14 legal, more or less that's just Mark. We've turned it over to Mark, and he's dealing with that through the courts. 12 rolled over and closed, 5, in 20, I got 5, 2025 closed, that's not right.
5 complaints received this year, I think.
Oh, 5 from this year have been closed, and then 17 total, resolved. That included the rolled over from last year. 2, not included in the total unresolved though, is 2 initial investigations and 15 under monitoring.
do we need to formally adjourn?
I would, yes.
Yes.
I'd make a motion when we adjourn for that meeting,
Second.
the 22nd of July.
We need to take a-
Yeah, let's take a roll call just to be safe.
Okay. Patty Lingle,
Approved.
Amanda Lyons,
Yes.
Joe Vogel.
Yes.
Okay, then we will call to order the July 22nd meeting. The first piece of business for this meeting is listed on the agenda as approval of the minutes from June, but because we just wrapped up the June meeting, we're going to move that to August. So our first item of business is special exception 25-006 for Randy and Heath Tackett in Noble Township, requesting a special exception to operate an automobile detailing business in an R1 zoning district.
So the property located here is at 1821 North 150 West, just south of the intersection of 200 on one east side of 150 West. Mr. Tackett has applied for a special exception, had a favorable recommendation given by the Plan Commission for his request for this business. As you can see in the paperwork in the files, everything should be in there that sort of explains what he is asking to do. It's a automobile detailing business. You've run it for 6 years, 7 years now.
7 years.
Out of just a portion of one of the buildings here. Is it this building or this building? It's a portion of this building, isn't it?
Yeah, right there, yeah,
Right
that's
there.
like 25% of the whole building
Okay.
that's there, yeah.
And so, with that, obviously, the reason for the special exception request is because it's an R1 zoning district, and there's no home or detailing business on this permitted special uses for a detailing business, but there were some close options. That's why we asked him to come in for the home occupation type 2 to operate this business in an R1 zoning district, since you also do live on the property.
Yeah.
And we didn't, the initial part of this came out of a complaint. And since then, no, we've not gotten any other information. We've got no feedback from any neighbors. Nobody's called and asked us any questions about the request. And we've not heard back from the original complainant about anything, so. And the original complaint, if I remember right, was about just the way that vehicles were parking or pulling in or pulling up to the front of the house instead of pulling into the driveway on occasion. They must be just parked on the side of the road and letting somebody out or picking somebody up. And that was the original complaint.
Yeah, not always, but yeah, occasionally someone, if they're in a hurry, because again, you're stepping out of your vehicle for 30 seconds. They'll park their vehicle and the person who'd help drop them off, instead of taking the time to actually pull in, they just decide to stay on the road while the other person walks to the car. There's probably 4 different businesses on that road that bring a lot more traffic than mine does. So I don't think I'm really causing a whole lot.
How many customer vehicles do you have at once, usually?
So we'll do about 3 vehicles a day.
Okay.
Right now, like just as an example, we have 2 people that went on vacation, which I can't stand because then I'm stuck with their vehicle for a week, but we typically throw them in the back just so they're out of the way and we work on current vehicles. I mean, not a lot up front. I don't know if you can tell from the image. It can hold a little bit, but I mean, it's just me and one guy. So if a detail takes 4 hours, I don't want to work till, we try to get done at 5 p.m. So ideally we can do about three vehicles probably if it's inside and out. So pretty standard. I mean, if someone brings a boat, we might just do that for the day because that's enough. But I mean, it's mainly cars and pickup trucks. So
You told us in planning commission, I'm a member of Shepherd's.
yeah, we've got like
Or
4
one
or
of your
5
larger
dealerships.
customers, they'll bring in 1 or 2 cars, you keep them a day.
Yeah.
Get them cleaned up, they want them back on lot to sell.
Yeah.
So typically, stuff doesn't sit there very long,
Mhm.
and the work's done inside. Just
Yeah.
kind of in that.
Yeah, there's more vehicles that we own and license than I actually work on. So
So it's not, you and I taking our car out there very often, some people do, but
Right.
most of your business is.
Yeah.
You have about
80%
three
of it
different
moves same.
car lots that bring them to you,
yeah,
Peru, and somewhere else,
yeah, Shepherds, Wabash Valley. I don't even know what their name is. I think they actually closed. There was a used car lot in Peru. And then when Wabash Trucking was selling semis, we would do like 1 or 2 a week for them. But they don't sell, well, they don't do their Wabash motors anymore. They just work on them.
okay.
Does anyone in attendance have questions or concerns? All right, do we have a motion for this request?
I still make move. To give a affirmative motion.
Second.
Patty Lingle,
Yes.
Amanda Lyons,
Yes.
Joe Vogel.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it.
Good
Thank
luck.
you.
I
Happy
need to
cleaning.
compete for the watchtower.
All right, next on our agenda is a variance request, variance 25-020 for Eric Benedict in Liberty Township. Requesting a variance of use to allow the maintenance of livestock, being chickens specifically, in a residential zoning district.
Okay, property is at 5 Clark Street, according to the GIS. Mr. Benedict was here last month.
On third,
Yeah, for a variance for the shed,
yeah.
that's
pretty decent.
just south of the house here. He replaced it, wanted to replace it, and we, also granted him a variance for this. He's here today because obviously the town of LaFountain has an ordinance, number 2/2025, an ordinance establishing a revised animal control ordinance. While the definitions of their animals or what have you, do say chickens in it, there is then, some that are prohibited, and then there are some that doesn't specifically call out chickens as a non-participating animal within this ordinance. So, it has come to that it looks like they are okay with this as far as the town goes. This was a town issue. They made an ordinance about it. Our ordinance obviously would supersede any of that. So we then requested Mr. Benedict to come in and go through the process of a variance if he wants to actually place the livestock there, per our ordinance. And that's what he's here tonight for. And are you using the same building then, the shed that you got the variance for to house the actual?
This will be a different building.
It'll be a different one? Okay. Is it gonna be on the southerly piece? Okay. Yeah, that's right, because this was the whole, they didn't have the right address. The Maple Street, that's right. It's really not a street. It's an alley. Because if you see the ordinance, it has a definition for them, but then it says certain animals are prohibited. And pretty much the only one that's not is chicken.
Chicken.
So I think it is, and without specifying that it's allowed per the way the ordinance is written.
How many chickens do you have?
Well, I plan on probably having between 6 and 12 egg layers.
Okay.
Maybe if I want some meat chickens, I might bring in 6 to 12 those at a time. Those only live about,
Yeah,
It's
no
6 to 8
roosters,
weeks.
probably.
yeah.
Any egg layers, you wouldn't need roosters. So
Yeah, roosters are actually prohibited, so what's not
you
on that
won't-
list,
that's what I'm asking.
yeah. you
Okay,
can- you can have hens. And roosters are-
And again, this is another, we did not hear it from anybody through the town. Anybody that was sent letters, we have not heard a thing, from anybody, for or against this or asking any questions about it.
And you said you plan on putting, on that parcel that's highlighted?
Yeah, they're actually gonna be south of the barn, almost by the woods. Probably, half the run will be kind of like under the canopy.
The yellow.
Yeah, there
rectangle
should be
that you're
one on your drawing where it's at. There's sort of a,
There's an approximate to top right
yeah,
map.
it shows a yellow structure south of the barn on the top right.
And what is this parcel zoned?
That is the same, yeah.
It's the same.
It's two pictures.
Yeah,
They got the picture of the town down here and they blew that up and put it up there in the corner. I couldn't figure it out. How it's over there.
I'll
And
put
then
inviting.
on the
light in
left
there.
is a picture of the building, correct?
Yeah.
So R3 is close
Across the
to
street.
the woods. Am I right on that?
Should be R1.
The R3 is north of the alley, R1 is south of the alley, so where the chickens are is R1.
Okay. R3's up here. What's down on the other, in the Grant Creek area? Is
it's
that-
R1.
Huh?
Yeah, it's R1 also.
But there's no homes down there,
No.
and that's lowland a little.
Yeah, I think that's mostly flood zone and I'll pull it up.
Well, isn't R1 more restrictive than R3?
No. Well, so R1 is more, not as dense population. R3 is where the denser housing is, so you can
So you
see,
could have more housing on R3, closer and.
yes,
More.
closer and multifamily too, so you
Okay,
can do
good. I get it.
apartments and condos and things like that. You cannot do that in an R1.
Okay.
So is the structure that's there considered the principal building?
There's only one structure there now. He has not applied for or built another structure other than the one that's there. And it's been there. I know what you're talking about. In a residential zone, the residence is supposed to be the first structure that's there, but this is grandfathered. So it's been there for a long time.
Right, but if he's talking about adding
Adding.
another structure, do we have more issues
Um,
before we can?
it
permit
also
that?
depends on the size of what he's wanting to do and where and, yeah.
Okay.
Because normally in a residential zone, if that would be considered the primary structure, which I guess that used to be a business at one time, the pole barn.
Yeah.
From what I understood, that was a business, so that would have been the primary structure. But as long as you put it behind the front of it in a residential zone,
Okay.
that's my interpretation of that now. I don't know how we could condemn him for having, buying a property and having a structure on it that's been used as a business and been the primary on it, even though it's a residential.
I just wanted to make sure.
That was my interpolation of that, so. I know right what you're
He
saying.
lives in the barn.
No.
Yeah,
he lives
I live on that,
street.
R3 property just to the north.
Okay, I just, here, okay.
That's right there.
Okay.
Okay,
Any other questions? Anyone else in attendance have questions or concerns?
we need a motion.
We do need a motion now.
You gotta make a motion. Okay, I'll make a motion, Patty was supposed to. I make a favorable motion. Did you second?
No, second. Right.
We gotta get this legal, Patty. A lot of people want.
Patty Legal,
Yes.
Amanda Lyon,
Yes.
Joe Vogel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Good luck.
All right, next on our agenda is a variance request, variance 25-021 for Ruben Hilty and Raymond Schwartz in Noble Township, requesting a variance from the development standard to allow a school to be placed closer to the side property line than permitted by the zoning ordinance.
So the property is just north of, Door Road 250, south. On the west side of 200 East, they parceled out 2 acres. Their request, originally, and the Plan Commission and Board of Zoning Appeals approved the, school. They had a plan that was with that, process that had, showed the schoolhouse 25 feet from the property line. After reviewing the special exception charts before the Plan Commission meeting, we let them know that that was supposed to be 50-foot was the minimum. They wanted to keep it at the 25-foot. It is an 84-foot wide schoolhouse. It's not what you would consider the typical schoolhouse, obviously. A lot smaller, as far as that goes with the footprint. So they're asking for the variance from the 50-foot requirement to a 25-foot requirement for a side yard. Again, we did have one person ask about the notification that they got. They just didn't understand what it was for. I let them know what it was for. They had no problems. They came in and I reviewed it with them. They walked out without any issues whatsoever. So I just want to let everybody know that that was the only thing that I know of that we got a call about or a request about or any questions about all this property.
Okay.
I don't have any questions. Speed things along.
Thanks.
You own the property around it, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Does anyone else in attendance have questions or concerns? Okay.
Move that we approve the request. The variance from the development standard to allow a school to be placed closer to the property line than permitted by the zoning ordinance.
A second?
Okay.
He's thorough.
Kathy Dingle,
Yes.
Amanda Lyon,
Yes.
Joe Vogel.
Yes. Good luck, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for your time.
Thank you for your time.
All right, next on the agenda is a variance request, variance 25-022, Tammy Tucker in LeGros Township, requesting a variance from the development standards to allow a home addition to be placed closer to a primary roadway than permitted by the zoning ordinance.
Okay, this is literally right around the corner from the last petition we got on the south side of 250. 2317 East 250 South. We have a request here, if you see the front, anybody in attendance, that there's a deck here, and if I remember right, you're taking the deck out and you want to extend the front of this to make a new living area, living room area in the front of the house. I went out and checked it, double checked the measurements because we were getting just a little bit different information, so I wanted to double check it. I did check it. If I remember right, the dimensions were about, depending on what size of a structure you wanted to, I think we were getting 113 foot? Did I measure that day?
I think it was.
I think it was. Yeah. 112 foot roughly. From the front northwest corner of the house to the center of the road. That's primary roadway, which means it's a 95-foot setback requirement. With the 20, I think you were saying at the time, you didn't know for sure if you did a 24 or 27
We would
foot.
like.
24, okay. Either way, it was gonna be, a couple feet within that, if I remember right, the actual dimensions. I think we've laid it all out here.
26 by 24.
Yep. So it'd be approximately 88 feet from the center of the roadway, infringing on the required setback by 7 feet. I went up there, the house actually sits up on a hill. Once you get down to the driveway, there is no vision issues here whatsoever. I didn't see an issue with this at all. We've granted stuff on this roadway closer than this without any problems, so far. So, I think our staff recommendation was for approval of this also.
I don't have any questions.
No question.
And we did not get any calls, any questions, anything from any neighbors or anybody from the public about the request.
I'm gonna move that
Does
we-
anyone,
Oops, sorry.
does anyone else in attendance have questions or concerns?
Now, can I move that we approve the request for variance from the development standards to place a home addition closer to the primary roadway than permitted by the zoning ordinance?
I'll second that.
Patty Lingle,
Yes.
Amanda Lyons,
Yes.
Joe Vogel.
Yes.
There you go.
There you go.
Good luck.
All right, our next item on the agenda is a variance request, variance 25-023. Lucinda Holderman, Richard and Don Shockey, Russell Anderson from Waltz Township, requesting a variance from the development standards to place a residential structure on the property that does not have the minimum roof pitch.
Yes, the property is 82 Delaware Lane in Somerset. It's right on the line where anything from the rear of this property east to 13 is within the public sewer part of the subdivision. Anything from that west, you have to have your own septic systems. So this property had burned, I think, 2 years ago.
Right.
In a fire, pretty much complete loss. And now has been purchased by another buyer. Mr. Anderson, you're with?
Elite Home Builders.
Right. He is here representing the owners. We've gotten, approval from both, the owner, the buyer, and Mr. Anderson to be here, in participation here. Just to make sure we covered all of our bases. You pretty much are, dealing manufactured homes or modular homes, modular homes. And that's what you want to place here. The issue, I guess, is that you don't have your recommended or the permitted 512 roof pitch.
Yeah, the particular home that they sold a house in Michigan and moving down here. So I have a display unit that's discounted in price, but it does not have a 512 pitch on it. So for this man on fixed income, it's a cost issue. But it is a true modular home. It just has a 312 fixed roof pitch on it.
The picture you have here, that's burnt.
Yes,
Okay, so that's gone.
that's gone.
Just
Yeah, there's nothing there on the site. Has it been totally cleared?
It's completely
Yeah.
clear.
Good.
So the only issue we saw with anything was the roof pitch, in replacing this. I don't think, did we have anybody call or any issues with this? I don't remember anybody calling or anything about this. Said that if there was covenants or restrictions that had something to do with the subdivision, nobody's brought them up. There's no HOA that's contacted us about anything. So, we had no issue with this other than, like I said, the roof pitch.
Is that garage gone too?
Yeah, everything's gone now. The slab is still there.
Okay.
We're gonna position the new home up to it so they have a parking plan.
It probably won't have a garage.
Well, not for me.
Yeah, okay. Okay. And you're on your own sewer septic system.
That particular lot is on the sewer and water system.
In town.
For the
Okay,
town.
gotcha.
Yeah, everything, Joe, from the back of their
Back.
property, from the west side,
Is
all the way west over to the other end of the subdivision, which is quite a bit.
Okay.
They're all on their own personal septic
Okay.
systems.
So,
But this line right between these two, that line right there is the end of the line. Everything east of that is on this system for the town. Everything west of this is on their own
Okay.
private septics.
okay, I don't have any questions.
No questions.
Does anyone else in attendance have questions or concerns? Okay.
Oh, here's some.
That's the only one. So,
Is that, where is that? 13 and, electrical heat. Uh-huh.
On this map, where's 13? Where's this map?
13, it's a quarter mile east of there, running north south.
Well, there, he's here. Here's. Okay. I, you want the next?
No, this is in here.
I was just curious. That's a little more populated than I
Yeah.
realized. Okay, I mean, not that it made a difference.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to give it a favorable recommendation as per.
Second.
Now I'll have to read it.
Patty Lingle,
Yes.
Amanda Lyons,
Yes.
Joe Vogel.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Get you the. Okay. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Okay, any other business to be discussed? Okay.
Yes, we have our budget. Does everybody have copies of the budget information?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we went over this with the plan commission, so Joe, you've seen this information before, it's the same one, we have turned this in. This is, like I said, the budget we had approved by the plan commission.
Mhm.
Obviously, we always give this to the Board of Zoning Appeals as a courtesy to review. This is just information that we have. If anybody's got any questions, we will be more than happy to help out with those. The main thing that we see, it's not, yeah, it is. These two items. So on the second, the increase, decrease page, it'd be about the third one in.
Yes.
I'm not sure if yours are all the same as mine. You can see down near the bottom, where it says legal ads and certified mailers.
Joe, that might be the second one.
Let's go together. There we go.
This one.
Yeah, so the legal ads and the certified mailers are the two ones that we have actually cut amounts from the our regular general fund budget. Since the plan commission approved a new way for us to deal with requests for petitions, we now get the money up front. So we do not need the council to approve an appropriation for us ahead of time to take care of all of those. Now, we did keep some of those funds. So the legal ads, we kept 250 on both of them, I think, didn't we? And that is because we still also do the petitions for alleyway vacations and stuff like that for the commissioners. So since we wanted to keep a pool of money there in case we had requests for those. We only get a couple of those a year. So we're hoping the money that we have left in there is enough to cover those costs. And the certified mailers, the same thing. So we cut those from the budget, from the general fund budget. Now, in doing that, then we had to add a line item for an increase in our budget for the that's the unsafe premise fund. It should be 1, 2, 3 pages from that. So the increase decrease again. And we added 1,000 and 1,000 to those to take out of our unsafe premise funds to cover those costs if need be, obviously. Because like now, what's that?
It's an in and out.
Right.
So they pay up front, and then we're just taking it out of that fund to pay
To
the
pay.
claims.
Yeah. So that's one of the bigger things. And then also the page before this one, the revenue, Form 2 Revenue 1207. Where we have licenses and permits, plan commission, 13,000 and 26,000. Those are what so far, the 13,000 is what we've taken in so far this year, on average for permits. And so we just doubled that for the end of the year and put 26,000. So that's our revenue for that. And then under miscellaneous revenue, there's a line item under that for 5,000 and then 10,000. The 5,000 would be for the first half of the year, and those are funds that we've recouped from unsafe premise funds, where the plan commission has ordered homes to be torn, and we're getting paid back for those. So those funds have come in. We've collected $5,000 so far, so we just doubled that for the end of the year, and that should put us to the end of the year. Next year, I think it'll be paid off almost close to it. So this line item will have to change. But those are the main things. Other than that, I don't think we touched this more than, maybe $50 here or there for anything. So. And again, this is informational purposes for anybody. If anybody's got any questions, or feel free to come and talk to me about it. And we'll take a look at it before our budget hearings come up next. Well, we switched now. I'm not even sure what day. Because we switched with. We had a day set, and now we switched with another entity here within the county. So I'll have to go back and review what day that actually is. I think it's changed at least 1 or 2 days and then the time. So. But that's all I have for that, and I do have the new complaint issue updates for this month.
Do I ask a question on the budget?
Yes.
You got 50 complaints rolled over from last year. 50 complaints this year. I forget what your other number was. Like my complaint's over a year old, so here's my question, do you need to put money in your budget to expedite these complaints? I mean, I feel like the citizens of Wabash County shouldn't have to wait a whole year for a resolution, and this is just discussion. You're talking about your budget, so I'm just asking, is there something there that you need before the budget is, we tried this last year and it didn't work. I tried to get you some help, but the budget had already been published, so it couldn't be increased. So since you're here talking to the BZA and you got a planning commission meeting before, do you have a request that would require more funds to expedite these complaints and get them handled faster?
No, we don't have a budget item for that. I mean, that would just be.
Is what I'm saying. Do you have it do you have, let me rephrase my question. Is there a way for you to expedite these complaints? We're up over 100 now.
Well, no, we're at total unresolved is 47 right now. We had 59 of them rolled over from last year. We only have 25 or 29 so far this year.
Okay, well, I apologize, I missed it. But like I said, some of them, you know, some of the ones in my neighborhood I know are way, you know, they were probably rolled over from 23.
Some of them may have, and we're working with some of them too. Some of those have been, you know, that.
Like I said, I don't mean to intrude, but I'm just, I know budget hearings are coming, and once she publishes it, then it's a done deal. So if there's a way to expedite these, if there's something you need.
I mean, the only way that money is gonna be an issue here is if we start finding people, and I'm not sure that's gonna expedite anything other than, because, I mean, I don't know that that's gonna help the issue as far as that goes. I mean, unless we added, like I said, unless we were to add an employee to just focus on zoning issues and violations. And I don't think that's probably gonna happen, so. You know, I might have a little different style than others in trying to deal with things without always going to court or always finding people. You know, everybody's talking about, you know, being taxed and overtaxed and overburdened with everything. I get it, but I also don't. As long as somebody's working towards the end result, I've been able to work with them, and that's what we do. We have taken them to court. Mark deals with those, and when it comes to that, you know, he finds those through the courts. So, for us to have another fund, I just don't know where that would play in there, unless we just started finding everybody for this stuff.
And in defense of Brian and his numbers, some of them, we tell them to clean it up. They try to get it cleaned up. They're not done by 60 days. We give them another 60 because they made progress. But some of these places, and with their financial stability, they can't do it. Just call Eads and tell them to haul it away. It just doesn't work. But we're making progress on it. We've got several more that'll be closed out. And
we closed 4 from last month.
right,
I
think Dave's
since the last
doing a
meeting,
good
4
job on that, but it took them a long time to get it in the mess they have had. It's in, a lot of them maybe have sort of inherited it from the parents and things, but most of them make progress. And you give them a little time, and if they don't, then we let Mark take them to court.
And that's how I've been dealing with it.
You gotta work with people.
If they don't respond, if they're not calling in, give me updates on what they're doing and how the progress is. We send them another letter if they're not compliant, and I know we've got one in your neighborhood really close, and he's gonna get, probably just get a letter saying, I'm turning this over to Mark, I'm done. We haven't got the updates that we, have requested. We've given them time. They've gone in and torn some stuff out on the inside, but not the structural stuff that everybody sees day to day. Believe me, I get it. The problem that I see with some of this is if we find them, they're gonna just walk away from it sometimes. They're gonna leave it. We're gonna end up in a tax sale that we're not gonna get anything. They're gonna strip the liens. It's a never ending cycle with some of this that we see that could happen. Now, it's not always gonna happen, but it could happen. We're trying to feel our way through this still sometimes with some of these with do we file liens? How do we do this to make sure that we're not overburdening people, but also we're talking to those like Dave, any complainants, and making sure that we are working towards an end result, that it's just not going to be stagnant and not done, and when it does, pretty much I just turn those over to Mark and say, we're not getting any complaints here, let's just go ahead and file a zoning violation on them. And then it could take a couple months before we get a court date, so it's just, there's always a time lapse here. And to your point, Dave, I don't know, throwing money at it, I don't know what we would do with it.
Well, one of my ideas would be, just because of the situation in the house next door to my daughter, the previous property owners come in here and lied right to your faces. And got their variance and then turned around and did what they want, because if you look at the minutes. And then go out there and take measurements on the property, they made the garage 12 foot bigger than it was supposed to be and encroached on the variance. So maybe a part-time employee to at least go verify the variances that you gave tonight. Make sure that they're followed through with. That they don't go 3 feet over onto this guy's property, or if they say they're putting a 24 by 24 addition on, and you go out there and it's 32 by 32, you know, because we don't have a building inspector, I don't see us getting one anytime soon, but maybe a part-time employee that Brian can hand the list of variances that were granted and go out and visit the property owners if you don't have time. That would be one thing that you could put in your budget. I'm not saying you're gonna get it, but you could ask for it.
Well, for the most part with that too, if it's a variance request for a new structure that could possibly be, then we also would have to give them a permit for it. And at that point, then the assessor's office gets a hold of it. And the assessment team then goes out and checks on some of that. Now, they don't get out a measuring tape and say it's 5 feet off the property per the variance request. But it just, along those lines, there's people that go out there and check stuff. And I just feel sometimes that would be redundant to spend money on somebody that's already going out there, but I know that's not the assessment team's job. So where do we save something here from the taxpayers and not burden them with an additional fees on something?
Well,
when we already have people going out there, but not checking everything. It's tough without a building inspector to deal with some of this. And we will, it's gonna happen. We're gonna grant these, and somewhere along the line, somebody's gonna do this. And I guess it happened, next door to you. I wasn't here then. I don't know much about that, but I mean.
Well, it continued to happen after it was sold. Like I said, there was 5 months between the first letter and the second letter, because we were waiting for the DNR to be the bad guys. Or if we had our own employee that could have went out there and said, hey, wait a minute, this isn't what you told the BZA. You need to come back and explain what you're doing here. Why did this change? Because here's my opinion, doesn't really count for anything here. You wanna grow Wabash County, you're gonna have to clean it up. You're gonna have to hire a building inspector, and, there's all kinds of churches, we could do neighborhood cleanups, Brian got dumpsters for our neighborhood. But some people just, we had them dumpsters sitting there. Some of those people, and I'm not bashing them, it's just the way they were raised or their socioeconomic condition. You could park the dumpster in their front yard and they wouldn't go out there and pick up the trash and put it in. So, we tried that, one of the neighbor ladies, Brian, and we did that, 3 years?
Yeah.
2 years.
Well, at least 2 years in a row, I know.
And
22 and 23. Well, and then we got fined on top of it from the dumpster people because we had refrigerators and things like that the coolant wasn't, taken out of. And then they charged us on top of that.
Yeah, well, that's it, you try to do good, so, like I said, I'm not trying to be negative, I'm just trying to say, hey, this is the saga that we've been through personally. And I know there's other people, so, I think we need to find a way, whether it be the planning commission, the commissioner, somebody needs to find a way to expedite this. If they don't respond in 30 days, you send them the second letter, then just take them to court, be done with it.
And there has been some that we've done that with because we've dealt with them before. Anybody who's willing to work with us and give us calls and say I'm working on it, and I go out there and check it and they're working on it, I give them, I give them those times before I even bring it into plan commission or anybody else. I'd rather not burden the plan commission with all these requests. The ordinance does say, you know, our office is, you know, should handle this stuff up to a certain point where we would deem it then an unsafe premise or something like that. And then we turn that over to the plan commission. So, it's a tough balance, and I'm still working through all that, even, you know, a couple of years into this. It's not the easiest thing to try to deal with when you're talking about people's lives and their, you know, their funds and everything else. Believe me, I've wrestled with it for several years, so.
And again, there, you know, where's the penalty for the guy? You know, and I don't want to drag this out, but I followed all the rules. On both. Got well over $500,000 and followed all the rules. And then I hand you 2 pages of no permits, no variance. Where's the penalty? And then he turns around and gets another permit.
I get it, I mean,
Okay, really talk to the planning commission.
I planned on it, and
It's 8:30.
I sat here and filled out the DNR complaint form.
Yeah.
While I was sitting through your meeting, but what I'm saying, the point I'm trying to make is, you know, it's budget time. If you guys at the planning commission can come up with something, don't be afraid to bring the request, cause I will lobby for it, cause I'm a member of the council.
You're one.
I know, but I can still lobby for it, and I'm only one vote, just like you're only one vote, I completely get that. But I'm really, really tired of this saga, and I'm really, really tired of the message, do what you want, and then just come and ask for a variance. Now, I understand a lot of you are new. That's the message that's been sent, how do we fix it? I'm trying to be positive here, how do we fix this? Other communities, it don't take this long. I checked, it doesn't take this long. You pull a stone like my neighbor did, you'll be in court inside of 30 days. So, I'm trying to be positive. If there's something you guys think of in the next couple days before budget.
Okay, Raven business.
no, I started some of the complaint stuff. Did we get enough of that to cover everything? Yeah. That's the only other thing I had, other than we are doing reassessments now. So the assessor's office is sending us, assessment requests for, issues where we don't have permits for properties that had reassessments done on them. So if we haven't given them a permit, then they send us a request for, a review of that. And right now, we still have 7 of them from 2024. I think we started with 70 some of those. So some of those are rolled over to this year. We still have 7 of those. And we know a couple of them, they just don't want to do it. So Mark will have to end up handling some of these, I'm sure, for a $5 permit. Just doesn't make much sense, but that's how it is. 2021 so far, or 2025 so far, we have had 21 new ones. So total open right now is 28. Total closed in 2025 so far from all these is 26. So, you know, and that includes the ones that were rolled over. So we're doing pretty good, getting everybody to comply and come in and take care of these. So, but we have also had to send out certified letters and stuff to the ones from last year, because we already sent them 2 letters. So once we send them 2 letters and they don't comply, then we're turning around and doing the same thing. So again, you know, that's another hard one, Dave, because just like this, you know, a deck or a shed, that could have been there for 12, 15 years. We're now getting a reassessment for, and getting people mad at us for asking them for, you know, $6 for a permit. Or I'm gonna ask Mark to haul them into court, and what's gonna happen then? So it's a tough deal trying to deal with all this and figure out how to make this worth our time and money to deal with this without going overboard.
Nothing else. I make a motion we adjourn.
Second.
Are you ready?